So I'm hopeful that we can arrange a meeting and move ahead with you and or your staff. And basically, that's our pitch. Any questions?
Well, thank you for being so passionate about it, and I'm sure the rest of the people here today are very passionate as well too. This is not about a we or they. Sometimes we make choices that don't always sit well with other members of the community, and we haven't made that final choice at this point in time. I promise you we would not be doing. That's one promise that you and I have got to understand. It's still being kept here, even though we are months later getting to it. I have one question to start out. I'm not sure how many questions the council will have for this point in time. It's not our intention to shut the door tonight. That's firm. Okay. But the one question I do have for now is that do you see if the township was to come forward and find a way to do what you're asking for tonight, do you see that being operated by the local community or do you see that being operated by the township?
Well,
Or at this time, we can talk about that.
we haven't thought about that, but you know, I would imagine it would be a cooperative event, a cooperative effect between township and the residents of St. Andrews. After all, it's going to be your building, as is this. This is your building, and you know, there's an old analogy that says 1 + 1 = 3, and that's the formula for synergy. You say no, it doesn't exist, but if you have two people working together, and you have the output, which is much greater than if you had individuals working together. So what I see is a cooperative effect between the township and the members of St. Andrews West to make this a reality and to operate it as a scene fit.
Members of the council, just one time. Do you have any other questions at one time? I have Councilor Smith and I have Mayor Hart.
I have more of a comment than a question, and I'd like to say, Earle, it was an excellent presentation. And for a little while now, I have to say that I thought St. Andrews, or the eastern portion of our township, could use a community center. I recognize many faces in the crowd, and you have good people here that will support the community center. I have no problems wondering if, we build it, will they come? I believe they will. However, it all comes down to, as we all know, is the dollars. Now, I think we've heard some good news this week, but talk is cheap, and I think that's an avenue we need to count on our administration to go after, and then we need to work with the staff and administration, and of course, we have to make everybody happy because the money that we're spending is coming out of the pockets from people in other areas too. So that would be our only challenge, and when it comes to, like you said, fundraising and that, I would be the first one there to help us for any of those events. But as far as the dollar thing, and I hope we can find a resolution to finance something like that.
Councilor Smith, I'm glad to see that you're optimistic, and yes, I too hope that we can find the funds somehow to make this a reality. Thank you.
Mayor Hart.
I'd like to thank you too, Earle. I thought that was a very good PowerPoint presentation, no doubt. It's a lot of work done on that, so thank you for that. Do you know when that Martintown facility was actually built? Was that during 2008 when all the infrastructure money came out? Or?
Well,
I'm not sure.
I think your mayor knows that. That's the right answer.
It is 2008?
Yes, that was 2008, yes.
So for me as well, I'll just expand on what Councillor Smith has said. Although mine will be the safety of the community will be #1, and then the dollar value as well. Like see how good this budget did, and discussions. I guess it's imperative, and we'll just go from there. So that's just my comment.
Deputy Mayor Hart, again, the funding from the federal government is there. We know it's there. Just that we can't apply for it. So if you're of the opinion that let's try this, we're willing to work with you, and we hope that you can get a third from the federal government to do this. We have it on good authority that that's a possibility. But if you start the fire hall without this, it causes a problem. And so we're asking you to just wait for a little bit, please.
There are other questions at one time from members of council.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. I don't feel like I was in the lion's den at
Don't
all.
go way in like that yet. And it's not going to be very hard. Things have been said because of the delay here back and forth, and I'm not going to go into that. But having said that, we do sometimes make hard choices, and I'm sure the words on the street to some degree, that we're totally against. this or that, and that's not the case. I mean, we do take priorities, and we do sit down at budget time, we get nobody to come to our budget meeting to talk to us, and we, even though we announce them. Having said that, we try to be as open as we possibly can. That's the way we always try to spend time I've been around this business. So when the committee comes like this, we understand, and there will be hard choices to be made here. I'm not saying we're just not cutting off today. What I'd like to say to you is, and I'm hoping that you will accept, is that this now goes back to our staff. They need to do nuts and bolts here. And then once that's done, and that can be done over a period of several weeks or a month or whatever the case may be, time they need, we need to look into the budget part ourselves. And we're seeing that the possibility is there for some type of culture or story, but we don't know for sure. The other part of it is, and I don't want to go into another tangent here, but I got kind of blindsided on Monday regarding the closure of the hours at the St. Andrews, which was just frustrating for me and from members of council. But having said that, we're working on that as we speak. I spoke to a couple of people by email today, and we're not going to let it die just there, but certainly from my perspective, and it's just my voice only on this issue when it comes to the library, for me the library is in the wrong spot, period. And we need to move it out of that area because in order to get it sold. If you were going to convince council or to convince me, those kind of apples would be important too to make this thing work. So I'm trying to say that the members of the here tonight. The building itself or where the library is held is a difficult issue for this council and the future council because it's landlocked and it needs to be repaired and it's a cost that we'll probably never be able to deal with. The library and your community hall that you want to see attached, that's another ball of apples altogether. And it's something that can be achieved if the will's there and if we agree on the principle of attaching the hall to a fire hall. For some will say that's not the way to go. I'm not going to beat about the bush, that's not who I am, but it's possible that we don't agree on that aspect. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. You're saying we may not all agree today. And that's where you'll need to work on us and those kind of things as we go forward. So having said that, we'll close it off for now. Council has said, ask their questions. It now goes back to staff, and we'll be in touch over the next several weeks to sit down and find a way to talk to you further and go from there. If you want to see, that means setting up an ad hoc. I'm not sure that's the way we're going to go, but we'll have this discussion amongst ourselves first. I know they'll be in touch with you, and I'm sure you'll be passing this on to all the members here tonight. And I don't want them just to come here and say we're kicking you. That's not the case. But I think we understand where you're coming from, and we've heard the questions from council at this point in time. They need to see the numbers. They need to see look at the concept, the design, and we need to have that staff input at this point in time, and we need to have that contact with the Fed to see just exactly where and when. We're not sure if the plane's all going to flow this year, next year, or the year after. We hear it might, but we don't know. And we're going to be a competition for everybody else too at the same time. So with that, I thank you one more time. We'll take a 10-minute break while everybody decides to stay or go. We'll take a 10-minute break.
Thank you. Thank you again.